Male matches just want to be a tool man. Author, Lin Ounce. Copywriting. The 22-year-old Shen Qingshu died unexpectedly. The biggest regret before his death was that she was single. He was clearly not a monk, but he never had a meatball. So when he opened his eyes, he saw a handsome guy standing in front of him. The handsome guy's thin lips slightly opened and asked him, "Are you going to take the kidney?" Shen Qingshu did not hesitate. Go. Go twice. After one night, Shen Qingshu woke up with aches all over, only to realize that he seemed to be wearing a book. The handsome guy beside him who was twice in the spring breeze with him was the protagonist in the book Attacking Hanchange, the second son of the Han group. And his original body is the unwelcome cannon fodder in the book. Shen Qingshu, this is embarrassing. But Shen Qing didn't panic, he was just a cannon fodder anyway, and it was estimated that they should be separated in a few days. He is just a tool to promote the development of the plot, he understands. Half-year later Shen Qingshu looked at the people next to him, and wondered, it's been more than half a year, why hasn't he been separated from me? Until that day, he saw the protagonist Xiao and Han Cheng unexpectedly meet. The tool man Shen Qingshu immediately felt the call of duty, his eyes gleamed, and he was ready to promote the development of the plot. Don't come to me in the future. Shen Qingshu was very conscious. Han Cheng was shocked. Why? Do you like others? Who? Shen Qingshu, kissing you, the reaction is not quite right. I don't accept it. Han Cheng said angrily, one night husband and wife Bai Yin, how much kindness do you count for us? Shen Qingshu, no, what are you telling me about? I'm not your wife, I'm just a tool man, I should go offline. However, Shen Qingshu found that the protagonist Gong did not allow him to go offline, and planned to marry him as his wife. Shen Qingshu, I cried. Content tag, Rich Family Entertainment Circle Sweet Wen Chuan Chu Search Keywords, Protagonist, Shen Qingshu, Han Cheng Supporting Role, Han Yu Others, Lin Ounce, Sweet Pet Brief Introduction. However, the protagonist wants me to be his wife. Purpose, everyone is the protagonist of his own life, and he must actively exert his own initiative and make his due contribution to the society. Brief comment on works, the popular star, Shen Qingshu, died accidentally, went into a book of Dan Mei, and accidentally attacked Hanchange twice with the protagonist. In this regard, Shen Qingshu did not panic at all. After all, he was just a tool man to promote the development of the plot, he understood. However, as time went on, Shen Qingshu was surprised to find that not only did Han Cheng not regard him as a tool man, but he actually wanted to treat him as a lover. Shen Qingshu was shocked, this was different from what he expected. This article is lively and interesting, with a novel conception, and presents a vivid image of the attacker and the receiver in humorous language. From the appreciation of each other when they first met to the considerateness of each other after falling in love, the relationship between Shen Qingshu and Han Cheng was sincere, gentle, honest, and charming, and enviable. The author is fluent, fast-paced, interesting plot, three-dimensional characters, supplemented by unexpected reversal, hilarious plot. It can be described as sand sculpture, sweet and uncompressive. Yangqiao Street, an ordinary sidewalk, is uncommonly crowded by countless young girls today. The girls in the back row looked forward with their feet and necks stretched out. From time to time, they could hear the shutter sound one after another, repeating with the girls in the front row, so handsome. Why is he so handsome? A passerby asked curiously, Beauty, who are you looking at? Shen Qingshu. The girl in the back row replied, don't you know? The cell phone platform he spoke for today. Really? Is he really good looking? The girl quickly took out the little video she had just taken and shared it with her. Look, it's so handsome. This height, this face, this body, my goodness, there is a better looking person in this world. Passers-by knew that she was seeing Xidza in the eyes of her fans when she said this. Now students are like this. They think that her idol is the most handsome in the world. Don't you know that in the eyes of other people, her idol? He was thinking like this. When he lowered his head, his sight just touched the man on the screen, and he was shocked all at once. This face, this body, this temperament. Hold! This is the handsome guy who is well deserved in the eyes of other people. The passerby instantly turned his fans, stretched his neck and looked forward, and turned on the photo mode with the girls around him. The Shen Qingshu activity ended and got on the car under the of bodyguards, brokers, and assistants. He waved to his fans outside the car window, and vaguely heard a male voice mixed with a bunch of female voices. It was especially obvious, "Shen Qingshu, I love you." Shen Qingshu closed the window with a smile, only feeling that the current male fans are also very enthusiastic and unrestrained. "Brother Shen, you have a male mother." Assistant Xiao Lu smiled. "It's not necessary." Shen Qingshu refused. He has just played several games with the brand, and now he is tired, leaning on the back of his chair and resting with his eyes closed. Seeing this, Xiao Lu lowered his head and looked at the novel on the phone again. When Shen Qingshu was a little more energetic, and was about to talk to his assistant, he saw his assistant's eyes widened and he looked like a ghost. "What's the matter?" he asked. Xiao Lu pointed to his mobile phone, looked at him. He wanted to say, but he was ashamed, and finally snorted and turned the phone angrily. "I saw someone scolding me again." Shen Qing guessed that what makes his little assistant angry is nothing more than someone hacking him, someone yelling at him, and someone hacking him and yelling at him. "No." Xiao Liu's expression was a little subtle. "I read the novel and saw that the person in the book has the same name as you." Shen Qingshu nodded, and then realized that his little assistant only looked at Tan Mei, so he hesitated and asked, "Am I attacking?" Xiao Lu, accepted. Shen Qingshu. "I, accept." Little Lu nodded silently. Shen Qingshu, "Forget it, it's just the same name as the character in the novel, it's not him, just accept it." Sunshine is handsome and charming, and the acting is superb, rich and heart-threatening. He guessed. Xiao Lu, cannon fodder. Shen Qingshu. White moonlight. Chinese cabbage. Shen Qingshu. What kind of spicy chicken novel? Shen Jingshu pointed to Xiao Liu's cell phone. It was deleted, and it was deleted immediately. What kind of spicy chicken author? My unique name, how could it be Chinese cabbage cannon fodder? This is unscientific. He looked at Xiao Lu, "Am I like cannon fodder?" Xiao Lu shook his head, "How can it be, brother Shen, if you are cannon fodder, don't these other people have to be foam? Look at your looks, your figure, your popularity, this must be the result of black fans. There is no way to beat you heathen, but you can only engage in this kind of spiritual victory, so AQ. Yes." Shen Qing folded his arms. He leaned against the car window angrily. After a while, he asked in a low voice curiously, "What are you talking about in the novel you read?" Hearing this, Xiao Lu couldn't bear to repeat the story in the book. When he encountered the plot of the cannon fodder with the same name and surname, he had to complain about it. Shen Qing listened to the content of the dog's blood, and her heart was speechless. What a dedicated tool man who jumped repeatedly on the verge of death, promoted the development of offenses and emotions in many ways, and was dedicated to his work. He was really blinded by such a good name. Alas, that is, he is too busy now and has no time, otherwise he would put on a vest and write a novel, and treat himself as a fan. I wrote that Shen Qingshu is a peerless man, handsome and handsome. Shen Qingshu is sought after by thousands of people, even if it is accepted, it must be a white moonlight cinnabar mole, unparalleled handsome, cool and earth-shattering, it is no better than this cannon fodder. Thinking about this, he looked out the window and saw that the food court not far away seemed very lively. "Stop!" Shen Qingshu said, changing into a normal denim jacket, and wearing a hat and glasses. "No one is chasing the car, right?" No one is chasing the car, so I just go down. Where are you going? The agent who hadn't spoken finally said. Remembering bitterness and sweetness, feel the life I used to be. Shen Qingshu said, and got out of the car. The agent hurriedly followed, I'll be with you. Shen Qingshu didn't mind, and walked forward with him. Suddenly, he heard a child crying. The child was crying very loudly. When Shen Qingshu turned his head, he saw a little boy crying and calling his mother, walking towards the middle of the road. He hurried over and picked up the child. Do you know that children can't cross the road by themselves? As soon as he finished speaking, he heard the heart-piercing cry of his agent, Qingshu. Before Shen Qingshu could turn his head, he was hit by a car. He heard screams, heard his agent's anxious calls for help. Shen Qingshu was lying on the ground, feeling as if something was passing from his body. How come there is a car? It's obviously a red light. Did someone run the red light? So is he dying? It's too miserable. He just became popular, and he is only 22 years old, still so young. He hasn't even talked about love, he hasn't driven a car. Why is this going to die? Shen Qingshu felt that he was too sad, he couldn't stand his eyes. Shen Qingshu blinked, then blinked again, looking at the white ceiling and the white crystal lamp above his head in disbelief. Isn't he on the street? Isn't it dead? Why did you open your eyes and went to the house again? Shen Qing sat up, looked around, and saw that the furnishings should be in a hotel guest room, wearing a hotel bathrobe. Is this the case? Why is he here? Doesn't it end up like this in heaven? Too grounded. Shen Qingshu was puzzled, and suddenly saw the bathroom door opened, and a person walked out of it. The man was handsome and looked very tall, and walked towards him while wiping his hair. His appearance is very good. His flawless face has eyes like inkstones, dark and deep. He walks in a hurry, and the water droplets from the ends of the hair roll down his hair to his neck and sink into the bathrobe. Middle. Shen Qing shifted his eyes and saw that his bathrobe was worn loosely on his body, revealing a large white chest, which was imaginative. Have you seen enough? The other party approached him, raised his eyelids slightly, wiped the ends of his hair, and looked at him with a smile. Shen Qing nodded awkwardly, enough. Then you can start. Start? What to start? Shen Qing was filled with doubts in his mind, and did not dare to show it, so she could only say euphemistically, you mean? Han Cheng snorted, what kind of restraint is this time? Are you and I here at night just to chat under the covers? Now that we have finished the shower, we should start doing business. Shen Qing thought for a while, hesitated, raised his hand, clapped, and tentatively said, Papa. Otherwise? Han Cheng asked. Shen Qingshu understood it instantly. It must be that he was unwilling to die before he died, so the genius arranged for him such a handsome guy to satisfy his wish before he died. Although it is impossible to fall in love, it is possible to drive a car. No, the driver has chosen for him. Shen Qingshu stopped panicking in an instant, come on. He looked at Han Cheng with anticipation in his heart. After bending for so many years, he could finally experience the feeling of high speed. He no longer has to look at them with a dazed expression when his friends around him occasionally talk about this topic. I wonder what kind of car you are talking about, how cool you are talking about it, what kind of mountain is Qiumingshan that people are talking about, and why the world seems to be the only one who doesn't know. Get in the car, friends, let us experience the thrill of drag racing. Come in. Seeing him change his face in a second, Han Cheng seemed to be eager to try, and he stopped talking, and directly pushed him down and pushed him up. His hand grabbed Shen Qingshuo's bathrobe belt, and with a slight force, the belt was torn apart. Han Cheng looked at his white shoulders and neck, just as his hands were covered, but Shen Qingshu suddenly held down his hands, and asked him as if thinking of something, well, do you have your medical report? I want to see it. Although he is dead, he still needs to pay attention to hygiene. He came cleanly and left cleanly. Han Cheng was speechless. I just asked you to watch it, but now you want to watch it again. He stood up helplessly, took out his share from his bag, and handed it over. Shen Qing sat up, looked carefully, and after watching for a long time, he was sure that there should be nothing wrong with him, so he can rest assured. Shen Qingshu returned the report to him, and before letting go, he glanced at the top name, which was Han Cheng. Han Cheng put aside the medical report and pushed him onto the bed again. Shen Qing lay obediently until Han Cheng touched his trunk. He involuntarily tightened his body, and reflexively pressed Han Chenghu's right hand. What's wrong? Han Cheng was helpless. How could he always be forced to brake while driving a car? Well, I want to ask, can I be the driver? Shen Qingshu looked sincere and looked forward to it. Since it is to satisfy his wish, shouldn't he be attacked? Lie down like this now, he always feels a little subtle. Han Cheng did not hesitate, no. Why? Have you ever driven a car before? Han Cheng asked, do you know what the precautions are? When to step on the accelerator, when to brake, when to change lanes, when to turn off the engine, and how can this journey be carried out? Nice and cool, do you understand? Shen Qingshu, who has never been on the road. He doesn't understand, he doesn't know, he has only seen it secretly in books. Han Cheng knew that he didn't understand when he saw him, so he boasted without shame, but I understand, whether it's a sports car, a mountain road, a country road or a concrete road, I understand it, so I'm more suitable than you. Shen Qing couldn't help but glanced at him a lot more. Amazing, old driver, rich experience. Now he doesn't argue anymore. Originally, he didn't have any particular obsession with attacking and accepting. At this moment, it would be pretty good to have an old driver lead him to understand the mystery of the journey. Then you can drive with your heart. Shen Qingshu warned, I am a new car. It's the first time I'm on the road, so bumps are not allowed. Han Cheng was a little surprised to hear him say this. He is a novice driver himself, and he didn't expect to encounter a new car. He thought that Shen Qingshu had never been a driver, but he didn't expect that he hadn't even been on the road. This unforgettable tonight software is pretty amazing. With such a small probability that they will meet each other, the novice driver with a new car will match it very well. Don't worry. Han Cheng said without embarrassment, I will definitely let you experience it once, unforgettable for a lifetime. After he finished speaking, he pushed down Shen Qingshu again. Since it's a new car, it's better to be careful. Otherwise, after a journey, the driver may still be the same driver, but the car may no longer be the one at the time. It must be a scrap car. Thinking of this, Han Cheng pressed it up again, but suddenly felt that Shen Qingshu was holding his hand, raised his head and glanced at him secretly. Han Cheng. What happened again? With a rush, fading, and exhaustion, Han Cheng felt that he was about to wither. Well, don't you heat up the car? Shen Qingshu asked in a low voice. Han Cheng, hot car? Shen Qingshu nodded. In the novel he was reading, the driver would do some preparatory work before driving, warm up the car, in order to run in with his new car to ensure a smooth journey. Han Cheng frowned, wondering, how hot? You can't kiss me. Shen Qingshu said without embarrassment, let me get confused and intrigued first, and then you will be surprised. Han Cheng. Han Cheng feels that his requirements are quite high, and he deserves to be a new car, very innocent, and he wants to play kisses. I am not a relative. He said very coldly, you and I are not a couple. The driver and the car should kiss each other? Too innocent. So your old drivers always get in the car and never warm up? Yes. Han Cheng has an experienced posture, only new talents like you will make such innocent demands. Old drivers like us, never engage in these useless things, they are straightforward. Conquer the city directly. Shen Qingshu. This is different from the journey he imagined. Shen Qingshu was a little unsatisfied. Is it true that all the novels are deceptive? Drivers in reality are so ruthless. He didn't even want to kiss and hug. Too lacking in driving spirit. 1-star bad review. But at the moment he doesn't have a second driver to choose from, so he can't do it if he doesn't. Anyway, he is an old driver and his skills should be good. Shen Qing reluctantly lay down again. All right. Seeing him like this, Han Cheng smiled in his heart. Where did the little white car come from? How stupid it was. He was in a good mood, and his interest came up again. He reached out his hand to touch Shen Qingshu's face and squeezed it again. Shen Qingshu looked at him with some doubts, eyes full of curiosity. Han Cheng was amused by his look, and poked him in the face. Close your eyes. Why? Shen Qingshu didn't quite understand. Can't I open my eyes to see the world? There is no world here. Of course, Shen Qingshu's voice was a little excited. The door to a new world is about to open to me. After so many years, I will finally enter the spiritual world of adults. Han Chinj. That is indeed a new world. All right. After Han Cheng finished speaking, he stopped inking. Shen Qingshu screamed unexpectedly. Han Cheng hugged him. Shen Qingshu grabbed his neck and rubbed his ear unconsciously. It's okay. Han Cheng comforted him. His voice was gentle, and the movements of patting his shoulders were gentle. Shen Qing closed his eyes, drew his lips across his cheek, and kissed him on the cheek. Han Cheng was stunned for a moment, and Shen Qingshu took advantage of the situation and kissed him on the lips. His lips are very soft, and he kisses coquettishly like a little beast. This was the first time Han Cheng had kissed someone, which was not what he expected, but it did not seem to be repulsive as he had imagined. After Shen Qing left the kiss, his consciousness became a little clearer, only to realize that he had just kissed his driver without warning. He was a little embarrassed to pull the distance between the two people back, but did not let go, but his face was a little red. Emergency avoidance. Han Cheng raised his eyebrows. Shen Qing was straightforward and confident. Whoever asks you to start the train suddenly, don't say hello. Han Chinj? Then I will say hello to you now. Shen Qingshu hadn't reacted yet, and in the next second, he caught Han Cheng again and rushed to avoid danger. Han Cheng chuckled lightly, and Shen Qing was so angry that he bit his lips, which was laughing close at hand. Han Cheng hissed and bit his lips. The two refused to yield to each other. They fought for a long time before they slowly eased down and turned into a soft kiss. After a journey, the two were quite happy, enjoying the beautiful scenery along the way and exploring the mysteries of life. Shen Qingshu was also a little tired at this time, lying on Han Cheng's arms and hugging him, quite lazy after being satisfied. Han Cheng watched him slightly lowered his eyes, with red lips and white teeth, beautiful and well-behaved. The body and mind that had just experienced the wonderful life became restless again. He touched his face and asked softly, "Are you going back?" Shen Qing thought about it for a while, and thought it was okay. It's not who knows that once he closes his eyes, he won't be able to open it again. Anyway, it's the time to make more, so it's a little bit more. Besides, although his driver is ruthless, his skills are really good. He takes back his previous 1-star bad review and 4-star good review. The lesser star is his bad service attitude. He can hug him, but he says nothing. Can. The return journey is fine, but you have to improve your service attitude. What's the meaning? Shen Qing pointed to his mouth slightly. You can obviously kiss. That's why you have to avoid danger urgently. But you didn't push me away. Shen Jingshu was justified and well-founded. Aren't you going to have a relationship with me? Han Cheng, that's really good for you. You ask a lot. After all, I am also a luxury car. Shen Qing said proudly, my condition is not bad. That's really not bad. In all fairness, Han Cheng felt that he was lucky enough to be able to get this quality the first time he made an appointment. The two people didn't communicate too much on the meeting software, they just posted photos, said the request, and then agreed tonight. Before coming, Han Cheng felt that he was impulsive, but after coming, Han Cheng felt that he was careless. But now, Han Cheng thinks this night is still pretty good. When he first saw Shen Qingshu lowered his head and did not speak, and asked him anything. He was also listless, as if it was not the two of them voluntarily, but that he forced the good to be a prostitute. Han Cheng almost didn't directly leave. When he was taking a shower in the bathroom, he was still thinking that if he went out, the other party would still look like he was still alive, he would change his clothes and go to the next room to save his mood. As a result, he didn't expect that it was the time to take a shower. After coming out, Shen Qingshu was as if he had changed his personality. He was full of energy and eager to try. He changed his previous coyness, and also revealed a bit of cuteness. Adorable children have sugar to eat, and luxury sports cars are naturally eligible to raise their prices. After all, in this world, drivers often have them, but luxury cars are not often available. A luxury car that makes him feel good is even rarer. So Han Cheng didn't hesitate, bowed his head and kissed him. Well, it depends on the deep relationship between the two of us. Obviously you are intolerable, right? Shen Qingshu glanced at him. So you want to feel the generosity of my chicken? Shen Qing turned over and put his hand on his chest. Come on, Torrent, bravely advance. Don't worry, I will let you know what a chicken is. You won't come here again. Han Cheng finished speaking and kissed his ear. The two happily ran towards the great harmony of life again. Shen Qingshu is really satisfied at this moment, and people are also sleepy. He clearly thinks that he can't close his eyes. If he doesn't close his eyes, then his life will pass. But after all he didn't restrain his tiredness, and fell asleep relying on Han Cheng. Han Cheng saw that there was no sound when he was talking, he smiled helplessly, and opened the quilt to get out of bed to take a shower. But the quilt was easy to lift, and Shen Qing was not easy to lift. As soon as Han Cheng touched his hand and wanted to take it off, he felt that the person in his arms held him tighter. Don't move. Shen Qing murmured unconsciously. Han Cheng himself tossed the person to sleep, and at the moment he was really embarrassed to wake him up again, put his hands away, and just thought about washing again tomorrow morning. He turned off the light and it was warm all night. The next morning, Shen Qing opened his eyes in a daze, and heard a low male voice next to him asking him, "Wake up." He nodded, looked at the familiar face in front of him, and rubbed his eyes. Wait, Shen Qingshu suddenly stopped his movements, opened his eyes wide, and carefully looked at the person in front of him. It was the driver master he had just met. He looked at where he was again, which was also the hotel where he was last night. So he lives another day? God is so kind to him too. Shen Qingshu was so happy, he squeezed the handsome face in front of him. It's great that I can see you when I open my eyes. Han Cheng raised his eyebrows silently when he heard the words. The reason why he is still here is entirely because of his high moral quality, so I am embarrassed to wake people up early after all, he tossed people to sleep. But shouldn't the other party have any unrealistic illusions because of this? Wake up and go take a bath, Han Cheng said indifferently. After we finish washing, we will go to each other. Okay. Shen Qing was not entangled either. Although he thinks the driver in front of him is not bad, he has experienced the new world last night, and he understands what kind of car other people are talking about. How cool is what people say is cool? What mountain is Quming Shan as people say, so he is not too greedy. It is much harder to live a day, he wants to use this new day to enjoy something else, and if he dies tomorrow, he will have nothing. Shen Qingshu pushed Han Cheng away without hesitation, got out of bed excitedly, and walked toward the bathroom, humming while walking. Han Cheng looked at him without turning his head back. with a ruthless look of X. He couldn't help but wondered, it's not right, didn't it just? It's great to see you when I open my eyes, so why do I just do it now? If the bed doesn't recognize people, it will look better tomorrow? Didn't they cooperate in a tacit understanding last night? Why is it so all of a sudden? Could it be that I did not perform well last night? It shouldn't be, he clearly gave himself a 5-star praise. Is it a false 5-star? But he didn't say 5-star cashback. Doesn't it need to be so fake? Han Cheng didn't quite understand, sitting on the bed depressed. The author has something to say. The first night, Hanchench, what kind of kiss? Old drivers like us never play kisses. 10 minutes later, Hanchench, it's so fragrant. The next morning, Han Cheng, don't have any illusions about me. Old drivers like us are ruthless. 2 minutes later, Han Cheng, why are you so cruel? It's great that I can still see you when I open my eyes just now I don't miss you anymore, it's so ruthless. Today's Ching Ching hasn't found him wearing a book yet, but he will find out tomorrow. Shen Qingshu was brushing his teeth, and he felt something flash in his mind. He couldn't help slowing down his teeth brushing, carefully feeling the memory fragments in his mind. But the more he felt it, the more shocked he was. When he finally traced the memory fragments, Shen Qingshu was shocked. He looked at the face in the mirror that was almost the same as the one he used to, and slowly moved closer, carefully looking again. After reading it carefully, Shen Qingshu didn't know whether it was joy or sorrow for an instant, and brushing his teeth stopped. How can he live an extra day? He is dead and wearing books. This body of him now is not him at all. Shen Qing sighed and looked at the small mole on his side of his face. He was sure that there was no mole on his previous face. Sure enough, it was not his body, but someone else's body, and it was not. The world he lives in is the world where the original owner lives in his memory. Shen Qing couldn't help sighing again. But he soon calmed down. Although death was really dead, he is still alive now. Changed the world, changed the body, that's still alive, that's not bad. What kind of bicycles are needed? Besides, this body is so similar to his previous one. It was a good luck. Shen Qingshu became happy again and continued to brush his teeth happily. He brushed his teeth, took a shower, and then walked out of the bathroom slowly. Han Cheng watched him look fresh and delicious after taking a shower, and he was a little bit ready to move. I have to say that Shen Qingshu does look good, with white lips and red face, small face, but big eyes, big and bright, and the tails of the eyes are slightly raised, with some frivolity and playfulness, connected to thick little hooks. The eyelashes are very attractive. Han Cheng remembered that he looked at him with these eyes last night. In the end, his eyes seemed to be stained with fog, and the water waves and the expression of affectionate eyebrows were even more itchy for a while. He couldn't help but ask him, "I was yesterday. How did the night perform?" "Very good." Shen Qingshu was satisfied, 5-star praise. "Then you think we?" Han Cheng said halfway, before swallowing the words back. This is not the right direction. He clearly intends to meet once and never see each other again. Everyone only maintains a good on-off relationship. Why does this require a special car? Han Cheng sensitively sounded the alarm and swallowed what he hadn't said into his stomach. "What are we?" Shen Qing asked indifferently, "How do you say halfway?" Han Cheng thought for a while and replied, "We can exchange contact information, maybe we can use it next time." He nodded, thinking that this method is good. It can advance or retreat, defensive and offensive, and can contact again and never see each other. After all, contact on software is always not as convenient as on the phone. He added. Shen Qingshu felt that what he said was right. He now knows that there is a high probability that his eyes will not be opened or closed, and this life will pass, so for the sake of future sexual well-being, it is okay to exchange the license plate number. Shen Qingshu took out his mobile phone, unlocked his fingerprint, asked Han Cheng's phone number, and broadcasted it to him. When he saved the name of the contact, he looked at the entered Hanchinj, and suddenly he was excited. Hanchinj! Shen Qingshu! Wait, isn't this the novel his assistant read? When he was in the bathroom before, he did not expect Han Cheng to patronize the plot in the memoir book, and naturally did not realize that his driver, and the protagonist in the book that his little assistant complained that day, turned out to be the same name. But he is not the protagonist. He is a cannon fodder, a tool man who jumps repeatedly in later stages to promote the protagonist's love affair. Shen Qingshu. Shen Qingshu silently turned his head to look at the person next to him. It's you. Suppress me to death in the later stage, and I can't wait to let me kneel down and sing for your sweetheart to conquer. He was angry for a while, and pointed at Han Cheng's waist. If it were not for the fact that his strength was going down, in case the protagonist's hardware quality was affected and he embarked on a new round of cannon fodder, he would not be Hanchinj's waist, but Hanchinj's great pride. Han Cheng was caught off guard by him and pressed his hand. What are you doing? Does it hurt? That's right. Shen Qing was not guilty. Your technique is too bad, and the negative score is bad. It hurts me to death. Han Cheng looked unbelievable. You just praised my 5-star praise. That's a lie to you, for fear of your low self-esteem. I have a low self-esteem. Han Cheng pointed to his great pride. I have nothing to be inferior. If I am inferior, you little bird, you must not be depressed. Shen Qing was so angry that he went to pinch him. Who the is the bird? You are the one who is the one who lives by the bird. Lao Tzu, this is the big peng spreading his wings. Daipen who has just been born and hasn't grown any hair. Shen Qingshu didn't say a word, put his hands together, and told Han Cheng with full action that Daipen might have been born without hair, but he must have had sharp claws. He had enough trouble, so he closed his hands, ready to change clothes and leave. Han Cheng was stunned by his unconcerned attitude, and even couldn't help but start to wonder, wouldn't he be really poorly skilled? Of course he knew that his Daipen was very mighty, but after all it was the first flight test, and he hadn't flew it before, and he was not sure if he was flying high and fierce. Seeing Shen Qingshu's appearance last night, there should be no problem. But he just said that he lied to himself, which is very subtle. Han Cheng felt that his car was really too elusive, and that the car was a good car, but it was too capricious. He looked at Shen Qing as he was thinking, already dressed neatly, and asked, "Are you leaving? Otherwise?" Shen Qingshu asked him, "What else? Don't you eat breakfast?" Shen Qing paused for a moment with his unbuttoned hands, not to mention it was okay, he was really hungry when he said that. "Then eat." He finished speaking and sat on the bed again. Han Cheng ordered the meal and handed him the menu. "You order slowly and I will take a shower." So last night? Very bad. Shen Qingshu was merciless. Then you still exchange contact information with me. It is everyone's responsibility to care for the old, the weak, the sick, and the disabled. Hanchinj. Aren't you curious about what you are? Shen Qingshu asked him. I only know that if you continue to speak, you will probably be disabled. The chrysanthemum is mutilated, the floor is wounded, and your smile will turn yellow. Shen Qingshu. Seeing that he was silent, Han Cheng smiled happily, squeezed his face, went to squeeze his mouth, and squeezed Shen Jing's sparse mouth like a duck, mouth hard. He almost forgot that they did it twice yesterday. If his skills are so bad, how would Shen Qingshu be willing to do it a second time with him? He is not a bodhisattva, he sacrifices himself and saves others. Han Cheng regained his pride and entered the bathroom happily. Shen Qing curled his lips and held his chin thinking, at this time, the protagonist has not yet appeared, that is, the story has not really begun, so he only needs to do not die in front of the protagonist after the story begins. It's okay. Anyway, he is also a tool to promote the development of the plot, so he will fulfill his early mission and do his best to promote the development of the plot. When Han Cheng and the protagonist meet by the Golden Wind and Jade, they win countless times. He is enthusiastic. Blessings, exit gracefully, this should be fine. Tool people, isn't that what it does? Therefore, he does not need to worry too much. Shen Qing thought to understand, looked at the menu carefully, and ordered several things that he wanted to eat. When Han Cheng came out from the shower, breakfast was ready. He wiped his hair, sat down and ate with Shen Qingshu. If the two are unfamiliar, there is no awkward chat, and they leave the hotel together after eating. Do you want me to give it to you? Han Cheng asked politely. Shen Qingshu recalled that the original owner came here by taxi. He didn't bother to take the effort, so he agreed, all right. Han Cheng's car was in the underground parking lot. It was a cool off-road vehicle. Shen Qingshuo's eyes lit up and thought it was not bad. Let me drive? He asked, I haven't driven for a long time. Nonsense, we just drove together last night. Shen Qingshu was speechless. I'm talking about real cars, four-wheeled, free-running, gasoline-powered cars. You can also, although it is not four wheels, but you can run freely, I will cheer you on. Shen Qingshu. What do you think is good between you and this car? Han Cheng touched his shoulder and said deliberately. Shen Qingshu felt that he was shameless, and turned around to pinch him. Who do you think is good? Haven't you all driven? You have the most say, why don't you think about it? Han Cheng smiled and held his crazy hands, feeling that his temper was a small sports car. That's hello, you are very good, how can this car be as good as you? Shen Qingshu stepped on him, car key. Han Cheng couldn't, so he had to give him the car key. I really want to drive, do you have a driver's license? Let's look down on people. Shen Qing glanced at him slantingly. Then you drive well, and I will look at your driving skills. Then let me be the driver. Shen Qingshu looked excited. Han Cheng turned his head to his car. You said, four-wheeled, free-running, gasoline-powered car. I can also give you gasoline. Shen Qingshu protested. It's not necessary, you should keep it for your own use. Shen Qingshu slightly bulged his cheeks with dissatisfaction, walked to the side of his car, and opened the door. When sitting in the driver's seat, Shen Qingshu suddenly reacted. He didn't know the route. How do I get home from here? But he didn't panic, entered the address on the navigation, fastened his seat belt, and asked Han Cheng, are you ready? Han Cheng nodded. Then go. As soon as Shen Qing stepped on the accelerator, he started to reverse. Facts have proved that Shen Qingshu still overestimated his driving skills. When he stopped the car, Han Cheng leaned on the co-pilot and almost didn't vomit in his car. He has never been motion sick when he grows up. He was so dizzy and nauseous in his own car today. What a damn! I can see that you should still take a car in the future. Whether you are taking a car or working as a car, you definitely can't be a driver. Han Cheng patted Shen Qingshu on the shoulder. Shen Qingshu looked at him as though he was about to vomit, but he was ashamed and unwilling to believe, is my driving skills so bad? It's not a bad problem for you. Others drive a car and ask for money, but you drive a terrible drive. Aren't you still alive? Some people are alive, but he is dead, and some people are dead, but he is not completely dead. Han Cheng pointed to himself, such as me. After seeing this car, I am afraid that I will feel flustered and nauseous. Can't get in the car for a long time. Shen Qingshu. Not so much. Listen to brother, take a good car. What a good car, how can you drive this kind of effect? Shen Qingshu felt that he was a pun, although he had no evidence. It must have been a long time since I opened it. I will definitely not be at this level next time. Do you have another time? Han Cheng was surprised. I will definitely not take your car next time. Then I will go find someone else, I will drive for free, there will always be someone willing to try it out. Han Cheng heard him say this, thought of something, and said to him, there is something, I think I need to tell you in advance. The author has something to say, Ching Ching. You say. Yesterday was the first time we met. If you drove a car with someone during our second meeting, then we won't have a second time. Han Cheng said seriously. Shen Qing nodded, okay, so do you. If you have another car before I meet you next time, then I won't go to your garage to join in the fun. Make a deal. Then I'm leaving. Shen Qing unfastened his seat belt, be careful on your way. There can be no more careless people than you are a driver. Han Cheng said sincerely. Shen Qingshu. Shen Qingshu let out a hum, then turned and walked back. Han Cheng smiled, thinking he was quite funny. The good-looking skins are the same, and the interesting souls are one in a million. It is a rare encounter as good-looking and interesting as Shen Qingshu. At least, he thinks they are in good harmony. Shen Qing returned home, to be precise, he returned to the original owner's house. Speaking of the original owner's family, it is really complicated in structure. In the book, Shen Qingshu's family belongs to a nouveau riche who has just become wealthy. If they are rich, they are considered to be there, but they are naturally incomparable with real wealthy families. But for the average family, it can be considered unattainable. When Mrs. Shen gave birth, she had an accident. Instead of going to the hospital she had planned, she went to a general hospital. This caused Guo Hong, the parturiente who was in the same ward with her, to have thoughts she shouldn't have, quietly. He replaced the two children and returned to his home with Shen Qingshu in his arms. Guo Hong's family is not very wealthy, and her husband sells vegetables for a living. Later, her husband went, and she herself became ill. When she had no money for the operation, she contacted her own son in order to survive, which is now replacing Shen Qingshu Shen Qingyu, who lives in the Shen family. Shen Qingshu was when they were talking, they overheard this secret, only to know that Guo Hong, in order not to let his son suffer, so he turned the dragon into the phoenix, the civet cat replaced the prince, replaced him, and replaced his own son. Went in. Shen Qingshu is very sad, but Guo Hong has treated him well for so many years. He also has some feelings for Guo Hong, so he just pretended not to know, thinking about what he should do. However, to Guo Hong's surprise, after her own son, Shen Qingyu, knew everything, although he called her mother and said that he was grateful for her, he secretly kept silent and wanted her to die. Guo Hong's eyes are so sharp and irritated. She saw that her own son was unreliable, so she silently started Plan B. She told Shen Qingshu everything, cried and confessed, saying that she was about to die and knew that she was wrong. She was willing to let Shen Qingshu go back to recognize her ancestors and return to her ancestors. Family love, help her, let her not die in the hospital bed. Shen Qingshu was a little weak by nature and had no opinion. Seeing Guo Hong crying pitifully, thinking about these years, his heart softened, and he returned to Shen's house in order for his adoptive mother to have money to treat the illness. He said nothing, but fortunately, he looked like Mrs. Shen, and once the DNA paternity test was done, it was in black and white. Although the Shen family was shocked, they also accepted this fact. It's just that he came back, but Shen Qingyu didn't leave. On the day when the incident broke out, Shen Qingyu knelt down instantly when everyone was confused and still did not react, and Kong at the 3 beeps of Shen's father and Shen's mother, the vocal cords rang, deafening. With tears in his eyes, he first expressed his shame for what his biological mother had done, and thanked the Shen family's parents for their cultivation over the years, supplemented by his nostalgia and dissatisfaction with the Shen family's parents, and expressed sorrow. Since my brother is back, I should also leave. I know my parents can't bear me, and I can't bear them either, but as the kid who is the culprit, what right do I have to stay at home? I will trouble my brother to take care of my parents in the future. Now, Dad loves to smoke. Brother, you must remember to care about his body and don't let him drink too often. Let him go to bed early. So does Mom. Brother, don't forget to give her a gift that she likes on your mother's birthday. Remember Mom likes to eat light food, not too greasy, and don't make her angry. He was talking about the art of talking. The moved Shen parents hugged him and cried, "You are our child, you don't have to go anywhere, you can't go." For a time, the three people hugged each other. Shen Qingyu and Mrs. Shen wept bitterly. Father Shen's eyes were tearful, and it seemed that the Shen Qingshu who was standing by the family was out of place. Shen Qingyu stayed like this in the end. He had to do a few more scenes, but his fate was also good. Guo Hong didn't pass it by himself, and before he entered the operating room, the people were gone. Shen Qingyu has become an orphan, and the parents of the Shen family have more reasons to say, "You are still alone when you go back. It is better to live at home. This is God's will. God is destined to be our child." Shen Qingyu hugged her adoptive mother, tears down like rain, deducting the love between mother and child. Therefore, there are currently 4 people living in the Shen family, the parents of the Shen family, the original owner, and the green tea spirit Shen Qingyu. Shen Qingshu thought of this complicated structure and couldn't help but slap his tongue. He really couldn't understand the magical brain circuits of Shen's parents. His own son had been replaced for so many years. Once they recognized each other, they were busy comforting his adopted son. I was afraid that he would feel uncomfortable because he knew that he was not related to them, but he couldn't see how embarrassed and sad his own son was standing by. But fortunately, he is not the original owner, and he has no expectations for the eccentric parents. The reason why he returned is only because the original owner has no other place to stay except here. Otherwise, Shen Qingshu does not want to return to this place. Is it not good to let Shen's parents and Shen Qingyu's family of 3 live happily together? White lotus and green tea are a perfect match. He is not the Notre Dame at large, how can he live with these 2 kinds of people? However, since he has just passed through now, and he is not familiar with the place of life, he can only wrong himself first. Shen Qingshu took out the key, opened the door, and walked in. As soon as he entered the door, he heard a stern male voice asking, "Do you still know how to go home? If you ask you to go on a blind date, you won't come back all night. If you don't have such a bad vision, you can be regarded as a treasure. It's your turn. Do your mother and I worry about you?" Shen Qingshu was taken aback, and when he looked up, he found that Shen's father and Shen mother were both at home. Mother Shen comforted her husband, Xiaoshu agreed, and he will go. After she finished speaking, she turned her head to look at Shen Qingshu, "Is it Xiaoshu?" Shen Qingshu nodded. The original owner had a boyfriend who was a scumbag before, and he was later found out by the original owner. The 2 had a big quarrel, but before the original owner broke up, the scumbag dumped the original owner cursingly. Shen's father and mother Shen didn't like the boyfriend of the original owner, but the original owner was unwilling to divide life and death. At this moment, they finally broke up. I can't wait to introduce a blind date to the original owner. He also specifically picked the one that fits the original owner's orientation. Boys. After all, in this world, people of the same kin get married. Although the relevant regulations have just begun to be implemented, the parents of the original owner intend to enter the circle of the wealthy family through marriage, so they are very calm about this. And the reason why the original owner agreed to a blind date, and even the hotel meeting with Hanchange last night, was also stimulated by his scumbag boyfriend breaking up. He had no hope for blind dates, nor did he want to go. He promised his parents, just because of a weak character and would not refuse. He and Han Cheng met because that day, he first saw his boyfriend and other people lying on the same bed, and was scolded and broke up by the scumbag. He was angry and resentful, and he wanted to get back with revenge. Shen Qingshu didn't think it was necessary. He was just a scumbag, and he earned it after he was divided. This is a happy event and should be celebrated. But the original owner is no longer there, and there is no need to feel sorry for this scumbag. As for the blind date, it's a trivial matter. Anyway, he's fine. It's okay to go to the meeting, maybe the other party is pretty good. Shen Qingshu, who was single and died accidentally once again in 22 years, is very longing for love at the moment. He has already driven in the car and is about to fall in love. Otherwise, if he has an accident one day, he should die again. Father Shen was satisfied when he saw him nodding his head, but his mouth was not forgiving. You will wipe the bright spot in the future, don't feel good about any rubbish. Look at Xiao Yu, who is next to him, who is next to you, how many are you? Learn from him. Shen Qingshu thought his words were ridiculous. If I grew up at home, then I would definitely not be the people around me now, and why didn't I grow up at home since I was young? He tilted his head and smiled, maybe I have to ask my good brother his mother. Father Shen frowned, Xiao Yu is innocent. Then I am even more innocent, and the white lotus is not as white as I am. After Shen Qing finished speaking, he was too lazy to talk to him, and went back to the room. He entered the original owner's room. The room was not small, but it was far from Shen Qingyu's exquisiteness. After all, he didn't grow up in this home since he was a child. Shen Qingyu has grown up in this home since he was a child. His room is equipped with a night light according to his habits. In the morning, his aunt will let him drink hot milk with honey before eating others. His picky eaters are bought by Father Shen. Shen Mother's indulgence. As for Shen Qingshu, he humbly mentioned that he didn't like eating bitter gourd, but the aunt didn't know whether it was intentional or unintentional. Not only did he make bitter gourd, but also put it in front of him more than once. The room in Shen Qingshu was modified from a guest room, so the curtains are only gauze curtains, and the shading effect is not very good. He mentioned it once and received no response. Looking at the blackout curtain that the original owner had found someone to install, Shen Qing shook his head, lay on the bed, and started to scan Weibo. He is a celebrity, and it is his habit to use Weibo, otherwise, how would he know where he has caused a black fan orgasm, and has caused his opponent to jump off his feet? It's just that the entertainment industry in this world is obviously different from the entertainment industry he is in. Shen Qingshu's brush is as if he has stepped into a new world. Unknowingly, this day is spent in the stars and entertainment companies who understand the world. N.S. He read the entertainment information for a day and a half, figured out the big and small entertainment forums in the world, and registered an account. After understanding the pros and cons of various entertainment companies, he didn't hurriedly changed his clothes and prepared to go on a blind date. This time, the blind date is set at 6 p.m., which happens to be dinner time. If the two of them have a good conversation, they can watch a movie together. If the conversation is not so pleasant, they can also leave after dinner, which is more appropriate. Time. After finishing packing, Shen Qingshu went out, and as soon as he went out, he saw a pure-looking boy standing not far from the door. The other's brows were light, with a faint sense of innocence, and the corners of his lips were slightly raised, which seemed to be very friendly, but it was not the refined green tea Shen Qingyu. Shen Qingyu approached him and asked, "Brother, are you going out? Are you going to have a blind date with Brother Qi?" Shen Qingshu was very indifferent, "Yes." "Then you must have a good communication with Brother Qi this time. Although you are not the type that Brother Qi likes, and you have just been dumped by Li Hui's trash, as long as you listen to Brother Qi obediently and meet his requirements, I think Brother Qi will also give you a chance. Brother, you must seize it, or if you miss this village, you will never meet a blind date with such good conditions again." Shen Qingshu. "Sure enough, one mouthful is old green tea." Shen Qing said, "Tisk, didn't you say that you can't become refined after the founding of the People's Republic of China? Your green tea essence is still alive? If you take a bath, people who don't know think our family is making tea." Shen Qingyu was taken aback for a moment, and smiled, Brother, what are you talking about? Can't understand Mandarin? Yes, I have never learned your specialty language. After all, how can people speak tea language? People can only pick tea, fry tea, and make tea. Which one do you like? I can help you. Shen Qingyu. Shen Qingyu frowned slowly, with a sad expression on her face. Isn't it what I did to make your brother angry? I also do it for your brother. Wow, the smell of fresh green tea, are you going to cry? Then do you know why my tears are always in tears? Shen Qing said in a gentle tone, because my eyes hurt by the smell of your tea. He pushed Shen Qingyu away. Let's let the little green tea, go find your cups and teapots to show your tea art. I'm shallow and don't like tea. Whoever wants to show me tea art, I'll show him. Military boxing. After he finished speaking, he stopped talking to Shen Qingyu, and slowly went down the stairs. This kind of little green tea, because the original owner has a good temper and was bullied by him, he even dared to show off the tea art in front of him, and the leaves were pulled out for him. The author has something to say. Ching Ching, I know the taste of green tea, look at this Shen Qingyu, I hate it. Hanchinsh, blind date? Blind date. Shen Qingyu watched Shen Qingsuo walk out of his sight, his expression changed, he was a bit hideous, he gritted his teeth, a sneer escaped from his lips, and bowed his head to perform tea art for Su Qi. Su Qi was about to go out right now, and as soon as he changed his shoes, he saw Shen Qingyu's WeChat account. Shen Qingyu, Brother Qi, my brother has already gone out, are you out? Shen Qingyu, although my brother had a bad vision before, he was so devoted to his boyfriend and couldn't drive him away. He felt that he was much better than you, but that was just a momentary confusion for him. Now he has been taught a lesson and he is my boyfriend dumped him and is willing to go on a blind date with you, so don't mind. My brother has been crying for his ex-boyfriend for 2 days. I don't want him to come back today and continue crying. It is not easy for him. Su Qi looked at him and snorted, what is this? Dumped by your boyfriend and fell back to look for him? Is he the picker? Besides, as for Shen Qing's former boyfriend, who was poor and scumbag, he was still desperate. Isn't it a crime? Can such a poor man look down upon him? If it wasn't for Shen Qingyu's bitter pleading, he wouldn't be willing to go out this door, blind date, and have this time. Would it be uncomfortable to play games? Su Qi sighed and replied, I know, leave it alone, you are too kind, he bullied you so much, and you still speak for him. Shen Qingyu, my brother is just because he has been separated from his parents since he was a child, so he has no vision and taste, and has an extreme personality. This is not his fault. It is normal for him to bully me. It's fine if I bear it. I understand him. Su Qi felt that he was really kind. If the blind date with him was not Shen Qingshu but Shen Qingyu, he would always think that Shen Qingyu was pure and gentle, he was the type he liked, but how could he have a blind date with Shen Qingshu? Unlucky. He didn't know how Shen Qingyu liked him. Shen Qingyu's vision is high, and he has the name of a small wealthy, but in fact, there is no such glorious Su family in his family, so he can't admire it. If possible, it is a family like the Han family that Shen Qingyu wants to date on a blind date. But he also knew that the Han family would definitely look down on upstart families like theirs, so his target was the middle-level wealthy class, like the Su family, which was not on his list at all. But even if he is not on his list, he is not willing to Shen Qingshu to succeed. Shen Qing is a fool, shouldn't he match a poor man like Li Hui? How did this break up? How could they break up so suitable? Shen Qingyu felt it was a pity, it was a pity. When Shen Qingshu arrived at the agreed restaurant, Su Qi hadn't arrived yet, and he was not a star anymore, so he refused the waiter's request to take him to the box, and chose a seat by the window. When a celebrity is good at everything, that is, you have to be concealed, sitting casually in the lobby like now, Shen Qingshu hasn't realized it for a long time. After all, he was too popular before crossing. There were fans wherever he went, and cameras followed him wherever he went. However, Shen Qingshu still wants to continue to be a star. His career has just begun and was unexpectedly ended inexplicably. Shen Qingshu feels a little regretful. After changing the world, he also wants to continue his career. But when a celebrity needs chance, he was able to sign the company to shoot before he crossed. It was completely lucky to go out and prepare to go shopping with his brother. As a result, the brother did not arrive, and the scout arrived first. And now in this world, who knows where this unreliable scout is? He didn't know many people, let alone the entertainment circles. Even the easiest draft, Shen Qingshu, just sat in the car and searched it, and the most recent one will be open for registration only 3 months later. So what else is there? Before he crossed, it was so smooth, he was inadvertently planting a willow, and now he deliberately planted a flower, but he didn't know how to plant it. As soon as Su Qi entered the restaurant, he saw Shen Qingshu sitting by the window. For no other reason, it was that Shen Qingshu's appearance was too eye-catching. Su Qi agreed to go on a blind date with him at first, just seeing his photos, and was amazed by him. But Shen Qingshu at the back refused, for a poor and scumbag man. Su Qi thought of this, and thought there was no use being beautiful, and he was blind with his eyes changed. He once again remembered the other party's evil deeds of bullying Shen Qingyu. Okay, when he was angry with the scumbag, he hurled his anger at his brother. Why didn't he beat the scumbag directly when he was so capable? The surprise that had just risen in Su Qi's heart when he saw a real person was quickly replaced by disgust, and he walked up to Shen Qingshu and sat down in disdain. When Shen Qingshu saw him coming, he sat up straight, very polite. He smiled and introduced himself. Hello, this is Shen Qingshu. May I not know that you are Shen Qingshu? Su Qi is rude, am I blind? Shen Qingshu. Did this old man come after a firecracker? So fried. The original owner did not offend him either. Shen Qingshu was so shocked by him, his smile disappeared, and he picked up the menu on the table and began to look at the dishes. Su Qi was even more upset when he saw that he ignored himself. What do you do with the menu? Are you going to have a blind date with me or with the menu? Shen Qing was speechless. Don't you order food? Your blind date is for dinner. Otherwise, to see you, the mallet? Shen Qingshu put down the menu while complaining inwardly, and decided not to order any more. He would finish the meal early, otherwise he wouldn't be able to eat it after seeing such a stick. So what does Mr. Su want to talk about? I heard you talked about a poor man before, didn't you? Shen Qingshu, I am blind. Then you are indeed quite blind. Why are you looking for me to pick up the pan if people don't want you now? Am I the picker? No, you are not worthy. I interrupted. Shen Qing said indifferently. Of course you are bothered. The scumbag doesn't like you, let alone me? But I don't give you a chance at all. Xiao Yu said, he doesn't want you to cry again when you go home. It is because of Xiao Yu's face. As long as you are willing to listen to me from now on, follow along, care about Xiao Yu, love Xiao Yu, see your own position, never bully Xiao Yu at home, and help me take care of Xiao Yu, then I can barely do it. How about giving you a qualification to become my candidate boyfriend? This is a pleasant surprise for you. Shen Qingshu. It's a surprise, it's almost the same. Unexpectedly, his blind date looks like a dog, but it turns out to be a real dog. Shen Qingyu's licking the dog. Disgusting. Shen Qingshu felt that he was fortunate that he didn't have anything just now, otherwise he would probably vomit right now. You should leave this honor to Shen Qingyu, he replied. Su Qi obviously did not expect that he would refuse. You can think about it clearly. Our family is considered a high climb for you. Just like you, I can sit here now because of Xiao's face. Don't be today. Rejected, and crying again after 2 days begging me to give you a chance. Shen Qingye, who keeps your mouth shut, why don't you go on a blind date with him directly? Shen Qing was puzzled. Su Qi chuckled, do you think everyone is the same as you? Love the brain. I and Xiao Yu are friends, and I treat him as my brother. Oh, I see, brother card, the regular trick of green tea. You have 3 minutes to think about it. Su Qi put a hand on the table, although my words are not good, but the truth is like this, you are in the circle now, it is a joke, if it is not for Xiao Yu's face I'm not too lazy to read your joke. I bought the book of jokes. Isn't it funny? Shen Qing laughed and nodded silently, that's really embarrassing to you. It's a pity that I never fall twice in the same place. Since I was blind once, I won't be blind a second time, so I'm like you. Licking the dog, I promise you what's the use, you have to waste money to buy you dog bones for you to lick, then I buy a real dog, it doesn't smell good? I can still lick the hair and let him wag his tail at me. Shen Qingshu, who the did you say is a dog? Su Qi said angrily. Who is angry is a dog. You are the dog. Yes, but you are not the dog. Su Qi was so angry that he stood up, I warn you, you don't know how to behave. Just you. Shen Qingshu said contemptuously. You know how to promote green tea, teacup dog. Su Qi. You're a teacup dog. Su Qi blushed with anger. Why the is so sharp-edged, wasn't he quite quiet just now? You will also play tricks, so low, it's no wonder that the poor do not want you, if I say, you are only worthy of being with the poor, don't think that the crow will become a phoenix after the yellow paint is painted. Rain, you're still just a drunkard. Then I must beat down water dogs, especially teacup dogs. Su Qi. Shen Qingshu smiled and stood up, although you are not a poor man, but I look down on you when I look poor. It shows how you are. Krypton cannot save you. You are destined to be hopeless in this life. It's sad. After finishing speaking, Shen Qing sighed, turned, and walked towards the door. He had just walked a few steps and saw a familiar figure, his driver master Han Cheng last night. Shen Qingshu came to his mind in an instant and walked in front of him. Han Cheng was also a little surprised when he saw him, eating. Do me a favor. Shen Qingshu said softly, lend you a minute. What are you doing? Han Cheng was puzzled. Help your car appreciate. After Shen Qingshu finished speaking, he turned and walked back. Before Han Cheng understood what he meant, he saw him stop in front of a person. Su Qi looked at Shen Qingshu and retreated back with a look of ghosts, and almost ran into his arms, exclaiming, You are blind. I'm blind. Shen Qingshu took his arm, I was wrong with a teacup dog. I think you are pretty good. I am willing to buy you bones. Su Qi exploded, do you really think I can't beat you? Of course not, I just want to be your boyfriend. It's late. Su Qi refused. Han Cheng was really puzzled, and took a few steps closer, This is my boyfriend. Shen Qing said immediately, let me go Han Cheng, I beg you, we are not suitable, you don't want to chase me anymore, I don't like the watch you sent, let alone you also take back the sports car you gave, as well as the yacht and sea view room you just bought. I don't need it. I just need you to let me go. I have a boyfriend. Han Cheng, what about him? What yacht, sea view room? Su Qi. What did he say? Han Cheng chasing him? Also famous watch, sports car, yacht, sea view room? Shen Qing was full of sadness and a grieved abdomen. Emotions are not something that can be obtained by force, although they all think that you are poor and rich without your father, and they told me that you are a scumbag and countless boys and girls are scumbags. My heart, but I don't care about it. I admit that I am blind. I saw you at the time, so I recognized it, but you can't just want to follow me, control me, and take possession of me all the time because you love me. How can I live it? Han Chinj. I thought I told you so much before, even if I broke up with you, you should know that you were wrong, but you followed me again today. Your suffocating love, I really bear no longer. I would rather change a boyfriend who is not as rich as you, as handsome as you are, and who loves me so much without you. He looked at Su Chi dimly with tears. I am willing to be your boyfriend, as long as you can let me not see him in the future. Han Chinj. Han Cheng couldn't help but clap his hands. What a splendid emotional drama! His suffocating love finally forced his boyfriend into a nervous breakdown, willing to commit himself to others in order to leave himself. Should he let go for love, or should he continue to be paranoid? Han Cheng looked at Shen Qingshu, taking advantage of Su Qi's unpreparedness, and desperately making eyes to himself. The corners of his eyes were almost twitching, and he decided to let go for love. He finished clapping his hands with a heartache. Since you insist on doing this, then I wish you happiness. After speaking, Han Cheng turned around and left unhurriedly. Shen Qingshu. Brother is wrong. This is not the case. Your personality is suffocating love. What about your possessiveness? Crazy? Why did you let it go? Didn't you see the look I made for you? Shen Qingshu felt that this was not suffocating love, but desperate love. He regretted it. He and his driver master didn't have a tacit understanding. That's it, the old driver. Get out of the negative points. He doesn't help to raise the price of the car, so he won't even want to board his luxury car in the future. Shen Qing was so angry that he almost tore Han Cheng's ticket. Su Qi looked at Han Cheng and left without looking back, and then lowered his head to ask Shen Qingshu, do you know him? Shen Qingshu had to change the script temporarily, don't you know him too, my poor ex-boyfriend? Su Qi, if the Han Cheng is too poor, he probably begs under the overpass. How come no one told him that his ex-boyfriend is Han Chinj? Do you also think he is poor? Su Qi couldn't believe it. What do I know when I'm so low? I'm just a little crow painted with yellow paint, naturally it's what you say. After all, who doesn't have a few sports cars and a few sea view rooms? Su Qi. Su Qi was silent. Shen Qingshu looked at him depressed and happy, so he didn't bother to continue acting with him. Thank you for helping me just now, but after thinking about it, I still don't want to involve you in the vortex of our love. This is not fair to you. Besides, you are not my type, although he is paranoid, gloomy and possessive. Strong, love makes me breathless, but he is handsome, I can barely accept it, you can't, you are not handsome enough. Su Qi. Su Qi took a deep breath, I'm just not as handsome as him, I'm not handsome enough. Is he already much handsomer than the average person? He is just no match for a bug-like handsome guy like Han Cheng. You are not as handsome as I am. Shen Qingshu made up again, I might as well look at you in the mirror. So what I just said, don't take it seriously. I didn't take it seriously. Su Qi died of anger, why should I take it seriously? That's good. Shen Qingshu lowered his head, be careful in the future. I'm afraid he will retaliate against you. He is too attached to me. I don't want to hurt you. Su Qi. Su Qi thought about the back of Han Cheng who had just left, there is no. Before he could say the 5 words so persistent behind him, he saw Han Cheng walk back again, walked directly in front of Shen Qingshu, and grabbed his wrist. Shen Qingshu? Shen Qingshu looked confused, brother, didn't you leave? Why are you back again? Do you think I am gone? Han Cheng asked him. Shen Qing nodded dumbfoundedly. Happy? I'm not very happy either, just a little frightened. Does I leave you so happy? Han Cheng leaned close to him, do you want to leave me that way? Shen Qingshu. Shen Qingshu looked at the expression on his face, and felt that he was a bit obeying his own personality right now. Han Cheng looked up at Su Qi, this is the man you like? How is he better than me? His face? Is he figure? Or is he richer than me and loves you more than me? Su Qi, brother, you are humble. Did you hear? Han Cheng whispered close to Shen Qingshu's ear, you chose such a worthless thing, and you want me to go? It seems that I am too gentle with you. After he finished speaking, he took Shen Qingshu and walked out. Shen Qingshu's acting skills broke out when he saw this disagreement. Talent. Is this attack so good at acting? You have your ticket. Your limousine has been renewed. Su Qi was stunned for a moment, and hurriedly chased him up. Han Cheng glared at him, why, you can't let him go. Su Qi immediately rested and stood at attention, sister-in-law walks all the way. You are too shit. Shen Qing glanced at him, don't tell my family. I know. Su Qi sighed. Although I don't know what Shen Qingshu said that gave the Shen family the illusion that Han Qingsh was poor, and felt that he was dumped by Han Qingsh, but since Shen Qingshu was unwilling, if he said it, just in case Shen Qing was unhappy, and Han Cheng avenged himself in order to please him, then he was not miserable. After all, who would have thought that Han Cheng looked so romantic and passionate, so crazy about falling in love? This suffocating love. Shen Qingshu followed Han Cheng into the elevator, and couldn't help applauding him. You, Oscar is at large. That must be necessary. Han Cheng was very proud, there is only what I don't want in this world, and there is nothing I can't. But what's the matter with you? Sit down for a while and say, let's eat first. I haven't eaten my food yet. You haven't eaten either. I'll ask you for your help. Okay. Han Cheng was not polite, pressing the elevator floor. I wanted to eat Western food, but I can't eat it now. Let's have a hot pot. After he finished speaking, he thought of changing his words. Forget it, let's switch to cooking. Why? Shen Qing puzzled. Han Cheng's gaze shifted slightly. I'm afraid your hot pot and hot dishes will hurt your hot throttle. Shen Qingshu. It's a rare encounter, such a wonderful night, we can't let it go. Have I said I want to spend it with you? Shen Qing looked at him. Han Cheng hugged his shoulders. Is my yacht not fast enough, or my sea view room is not big enough? It can't be that my love is not crazy and domineering enough, right? Shen Qing smiled carelessly. Well, for the sake of your cooperation today, let's spend it together. It's pretty much the same. The two went into a private restaurant together and chose a few light meals. Shen Qing just kept it simple, not too much about family affairs, so he only said that he came out to have a blind date with Su Qi. He belittled him, so he wanted to teach him a lesson. If I didn't see you, I would leave, but if I happened to see you, I couldn't help it. What if I'm just a poor man? Han Cheng asked him, isn't that useless? That's not enough. You look very expensive. Can he still see with the naked eye how much your bank card is? You are so handsome and have such a good temperament. Stop there, even if you wear Dobeo $9 and $9. Free shipping, that's also a private visit on WeChat. Han Cheng chuckled, you are quite good at talking. Shen Qing smiled and poured himself a cup of tea. The two ate dinner together, chose a hotel with the highest star rating nearby, and prepared to drive there. Shen Qingshu still remembered that cool off-road vehicle in Hanqinch, and was thinking about driving a second time. He was wondering how to force him to agree, but when he went to the underground parking lot, he found that Hanqinch had changed the car. The off-road car that he had a close relationship with before disappeared, replaced by a rather cool sports car. You didn't drive that car last time? No. Han Cheng looked at him, thanks to you, I have PTSD for that car. If it weren't for a firm heart, I should have PTSD when I see you now. Shen Qingshu. Shen Qing turned around and walked back. Han Cheng grabbed him, what are you doing? You two collided, so there are you without it. There is nothing without you. After he finished speaking, he pointed to the sports car he had parked not far away. Then don't worry, I will definitely choose you, you are much more luxurious than it. Shen Qing turned his head and gave him a poo, aren't you about to PTSD to me? In case you get sick and spit on me for a while, I'm afraid I can't hold back it for a while and let your blood splash on the spot. It's not that it's not the case, it's not the first time for you and me, old partners, how can a car accident happen? Shen Qing snorted. Han Cheng took his arm and walked towards the car, let's go and say hello to your little buddies. Everyone is a friend in the garage. By all accounts, he is still your brother. Shen Qingshu raised his foot and stepped on him, you are his brother. Then I'm your brother too, baby. Shen Qingshu was very disgusted, I am too expensive, you are not worthy. You just said that it was very expensive at first sight. Didn't you say it? I'm quite good at talking, just listen to it, don't take it seriously. Han Chinj. Han Cheng grabbed a hand of his hair and said, then you are now my little super runner. Temporary. Shen Qingshu said, walking to his sports car, let alone, his brother looks really good, a lot of money. Your brothers are not cheap. Han Cheng said. That's it. After Shen Qing finished speaking, he slipped into the driver's seat and said, I'll drive. Han Chinj. This really doesn't work. This must work. Play around, don't make jokes about driving. It's just that little distance, I can definitely do it. Han Cheng Fui, tomorrow morning? You have met my driving needs first, and I will satisfy your driving ideas. You said. I will try my best. Han Cheng felt that this was a test of his integrity. Then I believe you. After Shen Qingshu finished speaking, he opened the door and switched to the co-pilot. Han Cheng sat in the driver's seat with a heavy heart, very worried that his beloved sports car would be driven into the palace by him in 24 hours. He doesn't understand. Why can't a good luxury sports car take the car at ease and want to drive every day? I was born in the same car, so why rush to get along? Han Cheng depressedly started his real sports car and rushed to the hotel with his human sports car. Once they were born and then they were cooked again, with the first experience, this time the two people quickly finished the bath and battled fiercely in the bed. Han Cheng also remembered Shen Qingshu's negative comments on himself after waking up last morning. This time he specifically asked the time, how about my skills? How many stars do I have with a full score of 5 stars? Shen Qingshu was pinched by him, so he could only replied helplessly, 5 star and 5 star. 5 star praise. Not to take care of my self-esteem. No, you don't talk nonsense. The ends of his eyes were a little red when he was being bullied, but Han Cheng was reluctant, which one do I belong to? Shen Qing wanted to cry without tears, you don't belong to anything, you are now majestic and brave, can you do it? Han Cheng squeezed his chin, it's pretty much the same. After he finished speaking, he bowed his head and kissed. Shen Jingshu hugged his neck, bit his lip fiercely with anger, and then slowly kissed him with his strength. This time, Shen Qingshu was full of energy, and at the end of the journey once and twice, he was just a little tired and didn't fall asleep. Hold me to wash. He leaned against Han Cheng and said softly. Han Cheng didn't shy away from this kind of thing. He picked him up and went into the bathroom, washed with him, and then hugged him back to the bed. Shen Qingshu was a little clingy before and after the affair. This moment was over, and he lay on the bed again, and actively hugged Han Cheng, and took Han Cheng's hand to let him hug himself tightly. Han Cheng couldn't laugh or cry, do you like this gentle type? Shen Qing nodded and raised his head to let him kiss him. He had just finished taking a shower, his whole person was like a rose bun in a basket, soft and waxy, crystal clear, only his lips showed a little red, like rose stuffing wrapped in a bun. Han Cheng didn't refuse, lowered his head and kissed his lips gently, gentle and meticulous, making Shen Qingshu very comfortable. When the kiss was over, Han Cheng turned off the lights and said warmly, go to sleep. Shen Qingshu let out an and fell asleep slowly leaning on his arms. During this time, both of them slept very securely. Only Shen Qingye was not very secure. Shen Qingshu did not go home, but Su Qi said that the blind date was over and the two were not appropriate. So, where did he go? Isn't he going to find his scumbag ex-boyfriend again? Thinking like this, he got up and went out of the bedroom, sitting in the living room, waiting for Shen's parents to come back. At 1 o'clock in the morning, Shen's parents finally finished socializing and returned home. Shen Qingyu added fuel and jealousy to express that Shen Qing's blind date had failed. He has not yet returned. He must be mentally pretending to be his ex-boyfriend, so he went to look for him again. He was just perfunctory about the blind date. My elder brother is too hard-hearted, he is too loyal to others, he doesn't understand his parents' pains at all, and he doesn't know when he can go home, and he won't get back with that scumbag again? I'm worried about me. Father Shen was so angry that he called Shen Qingshu on the spot, but Shen Qingshu had already fallen asleep by now, and the phone was automatically turned off without power, but he didn't know anything. Father Shen became even more angry, cursed something worthless, and returned to the house angrily. When Shen Qingshu woke up the next morning, he found that the mobile phone was turned off. He asked the waiter to bring a charger up when the breakfast was delivered to charge the mobile phone. As a result, as soon as I turned on the phone, I saw Father Shen's phone. Shen Qing is not in a hurry to lose sight of it. Father Shen is looking for him mostly for blind dates, so it is not too late to go back. After eating, Han Cheng asked politely, "Do you want me to see you off?" As soon as he finished speaking, he thought of something and asked and replied, "I guess it's not necessary. I wish you all the best, goodbye." Shen Jingsha grabbed him, "The beauty you want, I want to see my brother. Is it not good to let your brother live? Your brother has been tossed and depressed by you. It just so happens that my brother will experience what happened to his brother, maybe he can enlighten him when he goes back, and you will have another car that you can drive. There are not many cars, so you can drive it, if you don't need it, it will work if you have you. It's useless, you promised me yesterday, I remember." Shen Qing did not relax. Han Cheng really persuaded him, "Think about it again." 3-2-1, I think about it, I still want to drive. Han Cheng. Han Cheng gave up his heart, and silently took him to his car. Shen Qing got into the car happily, and touched the steering wheel of the Han Cheng sports car. "Don't worry, I was careless last time. I haven't used it for a long time and I'm unfamiliar. This time, it will definitely not be the same as last time." Han Cheng didn't believe him. "When you get out of the parking lot for a while, you put me in the rental parking spot, you drive yours, and I'll take a taxi and follow you." Shen Qingshu. "You discriminate against me," he said angrily. Han Cheng shook his head, "I cherish life and love life. You look down on my skills. I am terrified of accidents and look forward to the future." Shen Qing hurriedly fastened his seat belt and locked the door. "Then you are done, you are my driver when you die, and you are also my passenger when you die. Why so 2 cars and 1 life? Are you happy? 1 person went to death, 2 cars accompanied each other, you kicked and throttled, how awesome! This spread out, which man doesn't envy it?" Han Cheng. Han Cheng could only start to guide him how to drive safely. When he arrived near Shen Qingshu's home again, Han Cheng felt that he had lost half of his life. "If you want to keep someone away from you, let him ride in your car," Han Cheng said with a weak emotion. "Is it such an exaggeration?" "It's not exaggeration, it's modesty." Shen Qingshu. Shen Qing unfastened his seat belt. "I hope I can see my new brother next time." "Do you still want to have the next time? There is none left. Just turn these 2 cars. Don't harm your other brothers." He watched Shen Qingshu turn around, leaving the back of his head facing him, stretched out his hand and pressed down the tuft of hair he had turned up. Shen Qing turned his head suspiciously, not understanding why he suddenly touched his head. The hair is curled up. Han Chendao, as he said, watching the hair curl up again, he pressed the button again. It's useless, Shen Qing said, it's almost the same if you give it another clip. Han Cheng doesn't believe in evil, so he has to manually smooth the hair by himself. Shen Qingshu yawned, and slumped on the steering wheel, allowing him to complete his great cause of smoothing the hair. Han Cheng pressed it for a while before he noticed that Shen Qing was closing his eyes and lying on the steering wheel with his chin hidden in his arms, like a cat. He laughed unconsciously, thinking he was really cute. When you lose your temper, you will behave like a kitten, spread your teeth and dance your claws. Now you are behaved, and also like a kitten, docile and obedient. Han Cheng approached him, gently touched his hair, and then kissed his face. Only then did Shen Qingshu lazily open his eyes, and laughed as he watched him gently looking at himself with a smile. Not enough sleep? Han Cheng asked him. It's kind of. Shen Qing said, have you played enough? I'll get out of the car when you have enough. Although Han Cheng could see that he was lying here with his eyes closed just to satisfy his sudden enthusiasm, but when he really said that, he felt that he was very clever, good and honest. He kissed the corner of Shen Qing's lips, then slowly covered his lips, and kissed his head gently. When he had enough kisses, he let go of the people in front of him, and looked at Shen Qingshuo's blushing face. Go, I'll show you your new brother next time. Shen Qing was happy, and kissed him excitedly, and said unceremoniously, I don't want the expensive ones, the handsome ones, and I don't want the low-grade ones. I got it. Han Cheng was helpless. Then I'm leaving. Shen Qingshu finished speaking, opened the door and got out of the car. Han Cheng watched him full of vigor and youth, and then he remembered the age he wrote on Shen Qingshu's medical report when he first read it. Isn't he 22 years old? He didn't look like it. If he hadn't read Shen Qingshu's ID card, he would have thought Shen Qingshu was only 18 years old. It's so energetic. Shen Qing opened the door, and as soon as he walked in, he found that both Shen's father and Shen mother and Shen Qingye were there. Is this a three-way trial? Where did you go last night? Father Shen asked. Go to the hotel to sleep for one night. Shen Qingshu told the truth, I was too sleepy after eating, so I went to a nearby hotel. I'm sorry, next time I will tell the family in advance. Did you go looking for your ex-boyfriend again? Father Shen didn't believe him. Why are you so cheap? People don't want you anymore, you are all engaged with other men, you have to catch up and get up. Do you want to be shameless? Shen Qingshu was a little stunned. He didn't expect a father to say such things to his children. Mother Shen did not stop Shen father this time. Obviously she did not agree with her son's actions. Xiaoshu, how could you do this? Before, parents thought you were ignorant, because you grew up in a bad environment, so you don't know human ability, but now you have come back, and your mother has introduced you to suitable people, how can you still be with that kind of scum? Su Qi, what a good child, what a good family, if you can be with he would be nice to you when he was together. Shen Qing smiled slightly, he doesn't look down on me. Of course he doesn't like you. If you catch up with someone like this, who would like it? Don't talk about him, even your ex-boyfriend doesn't look down on you. Father Shen scolded again. That's right, brother, don't contact your ex-boyfriend anymore. Although brother Qi doesn't like you, it's human nature. Brother, as long as you treat him better and change according to his preferences, he will definitely. I would like to try it with you. Wow, the garden is full of spring and can't be closed, a sprig of green tea is coming out of the wall. Shen Qing said softly. Shen Qingyu. Shen Qingyu's expression turned sad in an instant. Brother, why do you say that? I also think about you, brother. You leave gently, as if you came gently, you gently waved your hand, leaving a piece of tea fragrance. What are you doing? Mother Shen didn't want the two sons to quarrel. Xiao Yu is also for your own good, how can you say that to your brother? Then what should I say? Good said. Go on. You want to hear this? Father Shen was about to be off by him. I tell you, you will ask your brother to choose a gift for you in a while and send it to Su Qi to apologize. Tell him that you want to start again now, you like him, and you will spend more time with Su Qi in the future. Come and go. Shen Qing thought about Su Qi's sentence yesterday. Sister-in-law walks all the way well, and said very seriously, I'm afraid he will not accept it. Then you find a way to let him take it. Shen Qingshu, I tell you, Su Qi is your best destination. You like men, and he likes men. You two are just a couple. Others, people like women. Yes, I don't look down on you, do you understand? Xiaoshu, just listen to your father, and your parents are for your own good. Sorry, I didn't feel it. Shen Qing said calmly. Elder brother. You shut up. Shen Qingshu interrupted him, your tea smell is too strong, I'm afraid I will spit on your face for a while. You just shut up. Father Shen said angrily, we didn't take you home to let others watch our jokes, but now, you are almost everyone's laughing stock. If you don't want to have a blind date with Su Qi, then you get out of me. Others in the province say that our Shen family gave birth to a who would rather shamelessly want to catch up with others. Shen Qingshu sneered, you really treat your house as a sweet meal. Everyone likes it. Yeah, it should be paired with green tea. The three of you should be locked up. Get together. I'll leave now. Xiaoshu. Mother Shen said in surprise. Don't shout, Shen Qing said sarcastically, and you don't like me that much, pretending to be affectionate between mother and son. Your son is sitting next to you, hug him and cry. How do you talk to your mother, you? What's wrong with me? Shen Qingshu interrupted him, am I wrong? And you, keep saying that you don't want to get rid of the on your face. You want your son to hook up with Su Qi, then you are not old, don't be an old with upside down stickers on your face. I've said that people look down on them, and you have to ask your son to get in front of them. Who of us is more like a joke? It must be you, desperately trying to get into the upper class. Nouveau riche. Damn. Father Shen hated others most in his life for calling him a nouveau riche. At this moment, he first heard his son say that he was shameless, and then he heard his son scold him as an old bastard, and finally he said he was a nouveau riche. It was a murder to punish the heart, and Father Shen felt that his heart was not going well. That's how you talk to your dad? Yes, the upper beam is not straight and the lower beam is crooked. You are a shameless with your mouth shut, and you can expect your son to say something nice. Only magic can be defeated. Elder brother. Okay, little green tea, this prosperous age is as you wish, so stop talking, keep your saliva and make 2 more cups of tea, but remember not to drink green tea. Shen Qingyu. Shen Qingyu felt that he had never discovered that his stupid brother was so sharp-edged. Shen Qing sparsely picked 3, not afraid, came 1 by 1, 2 and 1 pair, and when he came 3, he would buy 2 and get 1 free. Soon, there was a splash of broken tiles in the living room of Shen's house. Shen Qingshu rushed forward to the door of the room before Shen's father wanted to start, and began to pack his suitcases. Originally wanted to settle here temporarily, now it seems that before he has evolved into the escaped Notre Dame of Paris, he still chooses to be at large. The author has something to say, Ching Ching, from now on, you are crying and begging me to come back. Ching Ching, but I won't necessarily come back, ha 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 ha. He picked a few clothes and some daily necessities, then opened the door and dragged the suitcase to the hallway in front of the 3 of the Shen family. Mother Shen didn't understand how things got to this point, and she was still persuading him, Xiaoshu, just apologize to your father. You went too far today, and your father is doing well for you too. Shen Qingshu looked indifferent, haha, he doesn't lack love, and it's not that he hasn't been in a normal family. He doesn't need this kind of false affection. Shen Qing changed his shoes, opened the door, and waved at him, "Goodbye." After speaking, he walked out without hesitation. After all, he was unfamiliar with the place and the original owner had no good friends. Only an ex-boyfriend was a scumbag, so Shen Qingshu didn't look for anyone, so he took a taxi and went to a hotel to put his suitcase. He lay in bed to catch up, and after waking up, he used the entertainment forum for a long time, and the whole day passed. The next day, Shen Qingshu went downstairs to the hotel to renew the fee. After swiping the bank card for a long time, the front desk of the hotel tactfully persuaded him, "Sir, do you have to change the card?" Shen Qing took out another card from his wallet, but the other party still said, "Are you going to change another card?" Shen Qing was stunned for a moment, and then he understood that the original owner's money was used up when he was treating Guo Hong's illness. The two bank cards in his wallet were the secondary card Shen's mother gave him after returning home. After he left yesterday, Father Shen should have frozen his card. This year, everyone didn't have any cash in their wallets. Shen Qing looked at the change in his WeChat wallet and the balance of Alipay. They were there, but they were just enough for one night in this hotel. He thought for a moment and said, "Forget it, don't continue." Shen Qingshu returned to the room, packed his luggage, then pulled the suitcase out the door and went to KFC. KFC is a good place, as long as you buy some food, you can sit here for a long time. Shen Qing chose a set meal and wondered what he should do while eating it. It's impossible to go home. How can a living person live with green tea and strange flowers? He is not a plant researcher. But the hotel can't stay for a long time. Even if he goes to the group buying website to find the cheapest hotel now, his balance of less than 1,000 will not last for a few days. Shen Qing flipped through the original owner's WeChat to see if anyone could help him temporarily. He flipped through it and saw Hanqing's WeChat name and profile picture. Hanqing's WeChat name is very simple, it is Cheng, and the portrait is a photo of a city wall at night. Yet, how could I forget him? Shen Qingshu's eyes lit up, and even if he was rich, none of the people the original owner knew was as rich as Hanqing, the second son of the Han Group. In terms of relationship, the relationship between the original owner and his roommates is not as good as not seeing each other. When they were in school, the relationship was not good. Now that you graduate, who will care about you? But Hanqing is different. He and Hanqing currently have a good relationship between the driver and the car. No matter how bad, Hanqing should be willing to come out tonight and go to the high speed with him to experience the thrill of speed and passion. Thinking about this, Shen Qingshu sent a message to Han Cheng. "Shen Qingshu, Didi, do you take the order?" After he sent it, he confidently waited for Han Cheng's reply. After all, from the previous two rides, Hanqing is still very satisfied with him. However, out of Shen Qingshuo's accident, he almost drank his coke, but Han Cheng never responded to him. Shen Qing was confused. "I will rest today, don't you take orders?" Hanqing still did not reply. Shen Qingshu became more puzzled and simply called him. Han Cheng was drinking with a friend. The music was too loud and the phone rang for a while before he noticed. When he lowered his head, the caller ID clearly showed, "Luxury Supercar." Han Cheng wondered, why did this Xiao Chao take the initiative to call him? Is it because he is conquered by his technology, who knows the taste, and is lonely and unbearable if he doesn't get on the high speed with himself for a day? This is too normal. After all, his Golden Eagle Daypen is so mighty and his driving skills are so superb. Shen Qingshu, a new car that has just started on the road, doesn't he have to be fully attracted by him? Han Cheng felt proud, picked it up, and walked to a quiet place. Shen Qing listened to the deafening music on his side and asked him, "Are you in a bar?" "Well, with a friend." Han Cheng continued walking forward, knowingly asked, "Why call me suddenly?" "The garage collapsed, so I want to ask if you would like to pick up the car today. Huh? Han Cheng wondered, what is the garage collapsed? It's just that I think their temple is small and can't fit my luxury car, so I ran away overnight. Han Cheng understood, you ran away from home. When he said this, he couldn't help but laugh. You are 22 years old, and you are not 12 years old, and you ran away from home. You are so secondary. Shen Qing was dissatisfied. How do you say you? It's obviously that their temple can't pretend to be a big Buddha like me. Just say that you don't mention it, or don't mention it. Han Cheng actually didn't plan to drive with him tonight. Their friends are rare to get together. He specifically pushed for other things today, that is, he plans to have fun with his friends. Driving this kind of thing is not in a hurry, and tomorrow is fine. It's just that when Shen Qingshu said this, Han Cheng was a little curious. If he didn't mention the car, what should he do with this small supercar who ran away from home? If I don't mention it, what will you do? Don't do anything. Shen Qing thought about it a long time ago. If you don't want to mention the car, you should be willing to lend me some money. You don't want you to see your car next time. Saw his body covered with wind and rain, from a luxury car to a poor weather-beaten car, right? Don't worry if I will pay you back, can I write you an IOU? Please, Shen Qing pleaded obediently. Upon hearing this, Han Cheng felt that he was also brave, did not bring any money, and dared to run away from home. You better go home, no matter how small the temple is, it's enough to pretend you are. Then you should wait for us to meet again next time, with dusty faces, frosty temples, and a dream of returning home at night. The car is luxurious and speechless. Let's throw your car exhaust. Han Cheng laughed helplessly, so reluctant to go home. Otherwise, Shen Qing was unwilling to see him, and he didn't force it. If you don't want to, I won't bother you anymore. I'll hang up first. After he finished speaking, he was about to hang up. Han Cheng heard the words and said quickly, where are you? Send me a location. I'll be there in a while. Shen Qing was surprised, aren't you unwilling? I'm afraid that if I don't go, you will not be my car in the future, but someone else's car. Shen Qing chuckles, that's not enough. I don't just allow others to be drivers, but of course it's best if you can come. As he said, he reported his address, and asked rather flatteringly, what do you eat? I'll help you. Just take care of yourself, I won't eat, you eat more. Han Cheng finished speaking, hung up the phone, and decided to pick up the car. He returned to the deck where he was, took his coat, and said to his friend, I have something wrong, let's go first, and get together another day. What's the matter? The friend was curious, didn't you say that everyone pushed the things at hand today? In an accident, something went wrong with the Force shop. I have to pick up the car in advance. It must be today. Yet. Han Cheng sighed, otherwise he will be helpless and become muddy. Then you can't let others go? Have to go by yourself. Oh, new cars are always more concerned. What car? Sports car. Han Cheng looked at him, it's also expensive. Then come out and have a look another day. Well. Han Cheng thought for a while, it may not work for the time being, I have to break in. Hey, what's wrong with this? If it doesn't work, you can drive it out. I'll help you run it in. I'm afraid he will look down on you. He is a car and not a person. What can I look down upon? Don't be the one who is reluctant to bear it. Han Cheng thought for a while, let alone, he was really reluctant. After all, his first car fits him so well. It's fast on the high speed, and the next one is sweet and well behaved. It is indeed a rare good car. Yeah, so I won't borrow it. The friend glanced at him narrowly, it's really a baby, go, take a good look at your car. Go, you guys play slowly. After all, he drank, so he didn't drive. He called a driver to pick up his luxurious xiao chow and ran away. Shen Qingshu finished dinner, and when he looked up, it was almost dark. It was like this in the autumn. It was very early in the dark, and Shen Qing was eating the sundae and waiting for his driver. He didn't wait long before Han Chang appeared. Shen Qingshu hurriedly pulled the suitcase and walked in front of him. "You're pretty fast." Han Chang squeezed his mouth, leaned close to his ear and whispered, "Don't say quick in front of the driver." Shen Qing didn't care about others, took away his hand and said to him, I know, let's go, master driver." Han Chang turned around and walked out of KFC with him. He helped Shen Qingshu put the suitcase in the trunk, then sat back with him, and said to the driver, "Let's drive." Shen Qing saw that there was an unknown person in the car and asked him, "Did you drink?" "Well, just after a drink, your call came." Shen Qingshu was a little embarrassed. "Thank you this time." "You are welcome." After he finished speaking, he asked Shen Qingshu, "What the is going on with you?" Shen Qingshu didn't want to talk to him about his family affairs in front of outsiders, so he said, "Let's talk about it when we get to the hotel." "Don't go to the hotel," Han Qing said. "Not going to the hotel?" Shen Qing was puzzled. Where to go then? Han Cheng smiled at him and said deliberately, "Go and sell you can sell a lot of second-hand cars if you are so valuable." Shen Qingshu stretched out his hand to pinch him. Han Cheng didn't avoid it for a while. Shen Qingshu chuckled lightly, "Then I will let you and me crash in the car." Han Cheng reluctantly took away his hand. "I am not willing to sell you, how expensive you are, take you home." The author has something to say. Ching ching, change the garage hanchange, new cars are in storage ounce, start the cohabitation life I like. Your home. Otherwise, could it be your home? Han Cheng looked at him. You have no money and don't want to go home. You can't stay in a hotel every day. Even if I am willing to lend you money, you have to find a place to stay temporarily, right? This is true. What Shen Qingshu had thought before was that if Han Cheng didn't agree, he would just find a job, earn some money, and then rent a house. With his looks, he wouldn't be hungry. No matter how bad he was, he could still drive. Live. But now Han Cheng is willing to let him go to his house, which is a pleasant surprise. He doesn't worry about Han Cheng's bad intentions against him. After all, this is the protagonist's attack. These days, the protagonists are all 5 speaking, 4 beauty and 3 loving. Even if there is not such a strong root, he will definitely not engage in human trafficking or kidnapping. Blackmail, this kind of thing, otherwise, this novel will not pass the trial at all, let alone be seen by his assistant. Shen Qingshu is very at ease with the censorship system, so he is relatively at ease with Han Qing's character. Except for being romantic and passionate, living in the tens of thousands of flowers, the leaves are not touched. Han Qing's protagonist has no major shortcomings. It is this shortcoming that has nothing to do with him. He is a tool man. What does Han Qing Fengliu have with him? Relation. He only needs to promote the development of the plot, and for the rest, his protagonist will be educated by him. Shen Qingshu thought so, looking at the scenery outside the window very happily, thinking about what he would do in this world afterwards. The draft only started 3 months later, so what should he do during this period? You can't just lie on the bed and shout 666. Shen Qingshu moved his little head a little sadly. Han Cheng looked at him and rubbed his head with his hand. After driving for half an hour, Shen Qingshu followed Han Cheng and got out of the car. As soon as he got out of the car, he saw the familiar Han Cheng's previous car. "Oh, we meet again, my brother is as handsome as ever." Han Cheng immediately turned his little head. "Don't look, your brother almost cried when he saw you. You don't provoke the relationship between our brothers." "My brother is obviously happy." "Yes, I cried for joy." Han Cheng took his suitcase and led him to the elevator. Shen Qingshu followed him, thinking of something and asked him, "Why do you have 3 parking spaces for one person?" "There are 3, right? There will be no other cars that belong to you, did I see it? There are only 3 of them at the moment. I left the others at home and didn't drive over." "So you bought someone else's parking space? You look down on people." Han Cheng looked at him. "This real estate belongs to our house." Shen Qingshu. He forgot that Han's business also includes real estate. "Great. So do you want a sea view room?" Han Cheng asked him. Shen Qingshu looked surprised. "Are you going to give me away?" "Dreaming." Han Cheng slapped his forehead. "I can only give you suffocating love." Shen Qingshu, "No need for it." The elevator stopped on the 16th floor, and Shen Qingshu followed Han Cheng in. Although his house has always lived alone, but fortunately, every time the aunt comes here, every room will be cleaned, so the guest bedroom is always clean and tidy, and can live in at any time. Han Cheng pulled the suitcase in and put it away. "You can live in this room, next to my master bedroom. You can come over at night." "What about the rent?" Shen Qingshu asked him. "How much will I give you?" "Pay with your body." Han Cheng looked at him. "I'll call you anytime." "No problem." Shen Qingshu had no objection. "But if I have something to do or don't want to start, then you can't drive forcibly." "Don't worry, I'm not a black car driver." Han Cheng finished speaking and approached him. "But you disturbed my happiness tonight, shouldn't you pay me a share of happiness tonight?" Shen Qingshu stretched out his hand to wrap around his waist. "Pay for compensation. I didn't let you pick up the car tonight. I didn't make you look down on the road. I'll take a shower first, and then we will get on the highway." Han Cheng thought for a while, and whispered, "I'll be with you. It just so happens. We have been there several times at high speed. We haven't been to the bottom of the sea yet. Try another place." Shen Qingshu. "Can this happen? I just changed a very large bathtub a few days ago." Shen Qing slapped his tongue. "You are not right. What's wrong with me? I'm so tall, I can't change to a big bathtub to take a bath." "Really?" Shen Qingshu was very suspicious. Han Cheng hugged him up. "Anyway, it's here, try it. Then be careful, if the underwater world is too thrilling, we will return to land." "No problem." Facts have proved that the reason why a limousine is a luxury car is that it can become a luxury small super racer on the track, and can be transformed into a luxury cruise ship in the water. Shen Qingshu's physical flexibility was even more powerful than he thought. When the two of them had finished exploring the underwater world together, Han Cheng wiped the person clean and carried him out. Shen Qingshu felt that he was so tired that he didn't want to lift his hands. He was lying in Han Cheng's arms, the corners of his eyes were a little red, and his voice was soft and soft. "I'll be in bed next time." "Uncomfortable?" Han Cheng asked him. "Obviously you enjoyed it just now." "Too tired." Shen Qingshu hugged his waist and said dissatisfied, "Am I your armrest? I want you to hug me, not on my body." Han Cheng laughed and had to hug him tightly. "You are quite picky. I've accompanied you to the sea, can't you be faulty?" Han Cheng nodded quickly. "Yes, you deserve it." "Humph." Shen Qingshu snorted softly. Han Cheng squeezed his waist and smiled. "Is it really tired? Is that waist uncomfortable? May I help you rub it?" "You rub it." Shen Qingshu was rude. Han Cheng rubbed him for him, and Shen Qingshu felt that his technique was good, so he didn't say much, just kissed his chin when his lips touched his chin, and then went to kiss his lips. Han Cheng has become accustomed to his clingy little actions. He lowered his head and obediently kissed him on the mouth. After kissing him tenderly for a while, Shen Qingshu finally ended his luxury yacht trip. Leaning on, he was about to sleep in his arms. Seeing that he seems to be going to bed, Han Cheng teased him deliberately. "Are we all in the air?" "What do you mean?" Shen Qingshu didn't react a little. "Luxury cars, luxury yachts, shouldn't the rest be luxury planes? Shen Qingshu. Do you still want to go to heaven? The highway can't satisfy you anymore. Human, life is to try. At this time you don't cherish life, do you love life? It's just going to fly a plane, and it won't crash. Shen Qingshu. Shen Qingshu didn't know what to say about him. Han Cheng smiled, speaking of which, our family also has a private jet. Your family definitely didn't buy a private jet for you to do this. We did it secretly, and it won't be any better. Only you. Shen Qing refused, who are with you and us? Liu. Do you mean you want me to find other small planes? Han Cheng raised his eyebrows. Shen Qingshu sneered, I think you will be beaten to death by the protagonist in the future. Such a wave. It's not me anyway. Shen Qingshu was determined, don't even think about it. That's not necessarily. Han Cheng smiled, maybe you will actually fly a plane in the sky with me someday. Go to sleep, you have everything in your dreams. Shen Qingshu closed his eyes and didn't want to talk to the prodigal anymore. The water waves in Penghu hit the waves, and Hanchange is even better than other waves. Han Cheng smiled, turned off the lights, and fell asleep early in his arms. When Shen Qingshu woke up the next morning, he found that there was no one beside him. He only left a set of pajamas and clean underwear, which should have been found for him by Han Cheng. What is this? Shen Qing thought slightly. When he was in the hotel before, he knew to wait until he woke up before getting out of bed. He didn't know where to go if he didn't wake up at this moment. Sure enough, if someone abducted them home, wouldn't they cherish it? Once the car is in the warehouse, can you treat it as you like? Shen Qing sighed, took the clothes and put them on. Han Cheng was taller than him, and his pajamas were slightly bigger on him. Shen Qing was too lazy to hold it, so he went out after wearing slippers. He was about to wash, but suddenly smelled the smell of rice, and he walked to the kitchen to find that Han Cheng was actually cooking. You can cook. Shen Qingshu walked in surprise. Wake up. Han Cheng looked at him. Shen Qingshu nodded, I thought you were gone. This is my home, where can I go? Han Cheng chuckled, turning the fire down, and said to Shen Qing, come here. Shen Qing walked over quickly and decided to take back what he had just complained about in his heart. Not only can drive, but also cook, is a very versatile driver. Don't wait for yourself, don't wait, after all, food is the priority for the people, and eating is first. It's important to have breakfast when you come together. Han Cheng watched him walk up to him with excitement, and asked happily, are you going to eat? He took his hand and helped him roll up his cuffs. I gave you pajamas instead of rags, so I walked around and it was a lot cleaner. Shen Qingshu. Shen Qing sniffed the scent of breakfast and decided not to care about him. Oh. After speaking, he reacted again, I actually brought pajamas. But you didn't take it out, let's wear this first. Shen Qing nodded sparsely, and saw that he had helped himself roll up his sleeves and bend over to pull up his trousers. As soon as he bent over, his white waist was exposed. Han Cheng touched it easily, and Shen Qing looked up and glared at him. Han Cheng is righteous, I touch my car, it's justified. Your car glares at you, righteousness. Han Cheng rubbed his head, hurry up and wash, come over and eat after washing. Shen Qingshu quickly rolled up his trouser legs, went into the bathroom, brushed his teeth and washed his face. Han Cheng turned off the fire, put the porridge in a bowl, and took the hot buns out together and put them on the table. When Shen Qing came out, she saw Han Cheng put a tea egg on the plate for them. If you want to drink yogurt, take it from the refrigerator. Shen Qing nodded, and walked to the refrigerator to get himself a bottle of yogurt. He looked at the table warmly and sighed sincerely, you are so amazing. It's okay. Han Cheng triumphed. Shen Qingshu picked up the tea eggs on his plate, knocked them and peeled them, and just wanted to eat it, and remembered that he now lives in Hanchin's home and eats the hard-boiled breakfast, so he has to say something. Here you are. He handed the tea egg over and borrowed the egg to offer the Buddha. Han Cheng took it, and saw him looking at him with a bright smile and focused eyes. If he had 2 ears on his head at this time, he probably should have moved. Han Cheng thought that he should be running away from home at this moment, and felt distressed. He was afraid that he felt that he was his electricity, his light, and his only myth, so he would have thoughts that he shouldn't have. So he coughed and reminded, "You should know that I didn't do it for you, right? You just picked it up and let you live in my house because we have a deep-rooted relationship. So, you can live in a car and live in a car. Open, but you can't like me." Shen Qingshu felt that he was really narcissistic. He could think so much by handing him a tea egg. Then if he helped him wash a pot, he must not think he loved him to the bone. "Don't worry, I won't. You, a prodigal son, won't stay with me, I'm just a tool cart, I understand. You have to give your heart to the protagonist in a complete, sincere, and unreserved manner, I understand. I don't really want to eat tea eggs today, so I gave them to you." "Why?" Han Cheng asked him. "It's probably because it hurts to see you." Shen Qingshu took a sip of yogurt. "Han Chinj. Why?" Shen Qing straightened up and out, "You went up to the mountain and down to the sea yesterday. Can't my delicate little heart to show respect? You are only allowed to have PTSD for me, and I am not allowed to look at you and have a mentality shadows. Then I see, you don't need to eat tea eggs anymore, not only tea eggs, but also eggs, duck eggs, and quail eggs." Han Cheng retorted. "Aren't you reviewing yourself at this time? If you are good enough, why am I doing this?" Shen Qingshu didn't panic at all. Han Cheng chuckled, "It's up to you to review yourself, baby. If your performance is superior enough, then why is this?" "Really?" Shen Qing looked at him, "I was born to be a car, I am sorry, since I made a car, we are all so dissatisfied, it is better for us to change it, I believe you must be a car with very good performance." Han Chinj. "What do you think?" Shen Qingshu blinked. "The author has something to say, Han Cheng, I think your performance is very superior, very good, especially suitable for being a car." "Ching Ching, then who should review it?" Han Cheng, "Of course it is me, I will review." "Ching Ching, hee hee. Small Theater 1 Han Cheng, I'll give you a song, God is taller than the sky, and he is even bigger than the sea. Ching Ching, I will replace Neza to kill you today." Small Theater 2 now, Han Cheng, don't fall in love with me. Ching Ching, look up at the title of the book, the male partner just wants to be a tool man. Later, Han Cheng, you really didn't fall in love with me? Ching Ching, isn't it for you to read the title of the book? The male partner just wants to be a tool man. Han Chinj. Ching Ching, okay, I was wrong. Actually, I don't want to be a tool person. Han Cheng, I knew it. You are really to me. Ching Ching, I just want to be a tool cart. Han Chinj. Han Chinj, vomiting blood. Jpg.